At mindfulness, there's also these mindful practices. First, you evoke love and compassion in your mind for somebody that it would be easy for you to do, like your child or your spouse or somebody that you really care about. You evoke that in your mind. You observe an act of compassion or love. But then you could go to the mall and see a stranger, and if you're mindful, you'll realize that that stranger has joy and sorrow like you do, pleasure and pain like you do, is going to grow old like you do, is going to die one day like you do. And when you do that, you have compassion for that human being because he's just like you. And then you could do that with an enemy, a perceived enemy, and slowly you train your mind in such a way that you deprive yourself of all enemies.
Well, that's one of the things that people enjoy the most about an animal, right? The number one is unconditional love, right? Number two is how present they are. Number three is they live in the moment. Number four is they're the master of forgiving. How many times human makes mistakes? Every single day. How often the dog forgive them? Every single day.
One of the best goals of Buddhism is to take negative energy and make it positive. And that's not always easy to do.
During the war in Vietnam, I heard that my hometown had been bombarded. And I right away took many means to go to my hometown. And when I arrived, I was so mad because most of the house, big house unfortunately, only my house is halfly bombarded, but we still live in. But most of other houses have been bombarded, and people cry and scream, and they said that, they hate they hate the side of nationalists, they hate the side of communists. They said that, yeah, the communists try to provoke, and then the nationalists called American plane to bombard, and so I'm angry at everything. I don't know when, and so I said that what I can do, and I went back to my breath and I walked calmly, mindfully. I walked, and I tried to be mindful in my step. It means my mind only with the contact of my shoes and the ground, that's all. And I walk. And suddenly among the ruin, I saw the little flower, very tiny little violet flower come through on the ruin, like smiling. And I said, oh, the little flower dared to go through on this ruin and bloom. And me, I cannot be my peace. And then I calm myself. And I look around and I try to see positive things. I see that there are people who try their best to do something to help those who are wounded, those who are still bury something. And then, so there are people who make rice bowl to go and distribute to those who have nothing. There are those who carry, because the bombard is gone already. And so I feel that I see many bodhisattvas, it means many great beings who are not angry like me and want to shout, but they try to help to do number of things. So that is thanks to the going to my peace that I can see many wonderful things. And when you have your own peace, you know what to do and what not to do.
First of all, you have to recognize that fear is in you. Most of people try to forget. They are afraid of many things. They are afraid of losing their job, that the other person does not love them anymore, that tomorrow they will be sick, abandoned, that they will die, things like that. And they don't want to think about these things. they get busy in order to forget. And most of the time, the fear does not have a foundation. They are afraid of things that do not exist. And that is why they need to look deeply. Or they may need a friend to tell them that their fear has no foundation, so that they can recognize the nature of their fear and get liberated. There is a wonderful practice in Buddhism that is very helpful for us to reduce our suffering. That is the practice of avoiding the second arrow. When someone is hit by an arrow, that person suffers, of course. But if a second arrow comes and strikes him or her exactly at the same spot, the pain will be many times more intense. And that is why it's very helpful to avoid the second arrow. And the Buddha said that sometimes something happens to your body, to your mind, you suffer. But if you get angry at it, if you worry too much about it, you will magnify the pain into 100 times. If you imagine too much, if you don't know the reality of your pain, and then you will suffer 10 times more or 100 times more. So that kind of anger, that kind of imagination, that kind of fear intensify your pain by 10 times, 100 times more. That is the second arrow, you see. So fear can make you suffer much more. And fear is based on ignorance. And that is why looking deeply helps you to have the insight that can dissipate, remove your ignorance. And a teacher or a friend can help you to see that your fear has no foundation.
I grew up on a farm, number one. I grew up with a philosophy of never work against Mother Nature. Always make sure you, human, gain their trust, respect them. They're going to give you a beautiful gift called loyalty. So once you grew up with those two sentences, this is what you become, right? You live a philosophy, you live a lifestyle that triggers an energy in you, right? Well, in the animal world, this is very attractive, to be calm from within. Because animals' biggest goal is the family and the harmony. To be part of a family and to live a harmonious life. Once you study human, that's not his goal. His goal is fame, his goal is money, his goal is a degree. My clients are Harvard graduate, but they can't walk a chihuahua.